Hey spuddies, PotatoMcWhiskey here, and welcome back to Let's Play Open Transport Tycoon Deluxe, or OTTD. It's really hard to say that, actually. Try say that 10 times fast. OTTD, OTTD, OTTD. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're actually going to change some of the settings. So, maybe it's better if I do this in-game. I'm going to create a new game here because I feel like we've pretty much conquered the last map with trucks, which felt pretty good. And we're gonna incorporate trains into our gameplay now. So we're gonna start here on a temperate map with a 256 by 256. 256 by 256 is a nice size. I think the other maps get a little bit huge for me. It's gonna be a normal number of towns, normal terrain, variety distribution of normal. Pretty much everything is standard. We're gonna start in the year 1925. Because that's a good year. It gives us lots of time to play around with stuff. We're going to do 2 sets of water and 1 set of freeform. This is just the way I like to do it, because usually what it does is it creates like a peninsula, and then it also creates a lake in the center, which, you know, offers interesting opportunities. So let's have a look at our industry map mode. Where are you? So let's talk about some of the important settings that we're going to be activating here. If I go into the environment and cargo distribution, so previously we were using the manual distribution mode for cargo, and essentially what this means is that if I set a train, let's say I set cars, let's say I had a bus route that went from Tenwell, or let's say I had a bus route, right, that went from Chanbridge to Wuston, and then I had a completely different bus route that went from Wuston to Fenningwell. The passengers would only go one stop, okay? But if I use the distribution mode, essentially some of the people in Little Chanbridge, when they arrive here, they won't leave the station. They'll wait for the bus from Fenningwell to pick them up and take them all the way to Fenningwell. And this creates a much more realistic passenger distribution. We are going to do this only for passengers, and we're only going to do this for passengers, mail, and armoured cargo. We are not going to do it for industrial goods. Because it gets kind of fucky if you do it with industrial goods. So let's get started off. We're going to play around with trains this time around. So if I zoom in here... Oh, and another setting that I'm going to change is... I like to play with the ability to build during pause time. A lot of people don't like to do that, and I can understand reasonable, you know, but I'm not playing against any AI, I'm not doing anything like that, so I like to play with building during pause, and I like to play with vehicle breakdowns turned off. That's just the way I like, that's the way I enjoy the game, you know, it's the way, it's just, the game is fun to me to play that way. So let's have a look at the cargo map mode. We're going to pick out coal mines and power stations. So there is a lot of power stations and a lot of coal mines. Well, I guess we could start with passenger stuff. Last time we did in industry, but we could do some passenger stuff. I think that's reasonable to do. So where would be like a really easy coal mine to connect up? Well, these 2 coal mines would produce a lot of coal together. I don't think we will be doing trucks this time. We will be doing a mixture of trucks and trains. So where exactly do we want to get started? This is always the part that I have the most trouble with. Is like, where do I begin? Oh, you know what I accidentally... I think I messed up here. I don't like... Again, I don't like to play when hilly. I want it to be flat, and I want it to be... Yeah, that's fairly smooth. I like to play fairly smooth maps. And that'll be... Yeah, okay, I fixed the issue I was having. There we go. Okay. So it's a little bit more flat, easier to play around with. Easier to do trains in and stuff like that. A lot of really closely packed towns. So I suppose there is no harm. There's no harm in farming. I suppose there's no harm in starting out somewhere over here, maybe. Well, let's get our rail. Let's start out over on this peninsula, okay? So there's some oil wells. There's an iron ore mine. Right. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna stick down a railway platform here. And I want to, if possible, capture both the iron and the oil. This is going to be a very simple terminal station. I would like to leave room for the ability to expand it into a roll-on, roll-out. Oh, I meant to change the limitations here. I want to change the limitations to all actions so I can do anything when it's paused. And I also want to turn off vehicle breakdowns. It's just the way I enjoy playing. So we'll build our railway station here because it'll capture both the iron and the oil. So where's this one going to go? This guy is going to be bringing passengers over to Chuddingstone. So we will make a pretty damn long. What are you? You are a sawmill. So this railway will probably be going right here. We want these to meet up at this point, like so. And we're just building some very, very basic terminal stations. I'm not very good at the game. I'm not very good at making like these super complicated, awesome, high throughput stations. I like to create just like little, workable little stations. This handles the very basics. So we're going to stick down 2 little depots for our trains. We're also going to start signaling. Now, how signals work is kind of complicated, but essentially what it does is it tells the train where it can and can't go. So if you look carefully, if you see these, okay, there is a signal pointing this way and a signal pointing this way, and they're both green. That means trains can pass in both directions. If I click it again, now trains can only pass in this direction, and if there's a train already on this section of track, this light will go red and trains won't be able to pass. If I click again, it reverses the signal, and then if I click one more time, it makes it two-way again. So essentially it's a way to give trains rules about how they traverse along your track. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create like a right lane for going forward. So this one's going to be the lane that you use to go in to this station, and then the other lane is going to be the one to use going another direction. And having your lanes, having one directions on rails is just a nice way to keep things organized. It can get a little bit fiddly if you're not very comfortable with this sort of thing. So this is facing this way, and then we want 2 ways at the platform so trains can come in and out. But they should. Oh, you know what? I was overzealous there, and I will delete a couple of these guys. And then I want to drag from here also to about here, and then I'll stick another one right there, preferably facing that way. So trains should now. So let's say I have a train going from Chuddingstone West to Branning Hall. Okay, the train will come out of the depot. It'll go into the station, and then it'll follow along this right-hand track all the way to Branning Hall, and then it will go here. It'll offload its passengers and do whatever it needs to do, and then it'll come out and it'll follow back towards Chuddingstone through the other track. So we have our first connection up. Now we need to make some modifications to this. Because, we can't do buses yet. So what do you accept? Passengers. I'm going to make a very, very basic little train. It's just going to have 1 passenger crate on it. This one accepts passengers. Let me quickly double check that you actually supply passengers too. If I rotate you, you supply passengers, and you accept and supply passengers. So we'll just make like a little train that will go from Branning Hall to Chuddingstone West. It's just a little baby train. It's not going to do too much. We're going to wait till buses are invented as well. That's going to be something we do, and we can start connecting up new cities now. So I want to get Gettingbury connected up to my little network. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new station. It's going to go right over here. This will accept passengers and mail. Now I need to build a three-way junction, possibly even a four-way junction, but we'll get started with a three-way junction here in a moment. But I'm going to let this little train go, and you should start building up with some very small amount of passengers. So you can see the train is following along this left-hand track, okay? And then when it gets to the station, it will pop in here. It'll turn around, and then it should follow along the other track. You can see it's automatically, due to the way the signaling is set up, it's using one lane. And this is going to be really good for keeping traffic down as we get into the late game. And it's going to be like, 10, 20 trains on these railways, on this passenger rail network. So we need to get this train past this junction because we need to improve this junction. So again, we're going to do a very simple little cross-exit terminal design, like so. Now we need to get this railway to merge with this one, and this is actually a lot harder than you would think. How do you get these things to efficiently merge? Well, one easy way to do it, well, this particular track is coming out fairly simply this direction. So I'll tell you what, we will branch off from here. Okay. So how exactly? I'm trying to remember how I do this. I do have a method I use to do three-way junctions. So there's so I think the first things I do is I delete these. And I'll let the train move a little bit too to get it away from the junction. I delete these, right? Now, if you want to go this way, what you're going to do instead is you're going to turn early, or maybe not that early, but you will be turning early, okay? And then what I want to do is I need to do a dip here on these two, I think. Okay. And then on this side, I need to do another dip. And then we'll have tunnels going from here to here. So if you want to go this way, whoops. So if you want to go from Chuddingstone West to Branning Hall, you will go this way. If you want to go from Chuddingstone West to Gettingsbury, which way will you go? You will just go straight. Okay. So going straight is perfectly reasonable. We'll get that set up. Like so. Then if you want to go, okay, so if you want to go from Chuddingstone West to Branning Hall, you will go through this junction and you will turn right here, okay? If you want to go from Chuddingstone West to Gettingbury, you will go through, just straight through and turn. Now if you want to go from Gettingbury to Chuddingstone, you will just follow this bottom track, okay? But if you want to go from Gettingbury to Branning Hall, you're going to need to go through this track over here. And so how am I going to do this? I think what I will do is I will come out straight like this. And then it will come in like that. So if you want to go from Gettingbury to Branning Hall, you're going to come through here, you're going to follow through, and then you're going to turn right to go left. Now there's issues with that we'll talk about, but this is just a fairly basic three-way junction. Now if you're coming back this way, so if you're coming out of this guy and you want to go to Chuddingstone West, again, we're going to do a similar sort of thing. And you just loop your way onto the track. So it forms like I don't want to talk about what that looks like, but essentially it forms a fairly basic, let me get the signals going here and maybe it'll make a little bit more sense. So every time there's a junction, you want to have signals. You want to have a lot of signals around a junction. Is this the way I want to do this? Oh, right. So if you're coming, let me. I think this is right. And then I need another rail. So this is if you're coming from Browning Hall and you want to go to Chuddingstone, you're gonna have to come through. You have to go through the tunnel. You loop around, okay? But if you're coming from Browning Hall and you want to go to Gettingbury, you're gonna have to turn early, like so. Yeah. Okay. That makes perfect sense to me. So we want to get to every junction, and we want to put a lot of signals on every junction. And the reason you do that is to keep things flowing. So even though this guy's over here, stuff can keep going. And then you want to delete some of the other signals. One there, I suppose. So this should now work just fine. And then if we're going, so this is this road, we're going to need another set of signals over here, and here, and here. And we're going to want some signals here, and here, and here. Okay, so that should this should now handle the traffic to go between these. I want to have two-way signals right here and here. So this one is flowing in, so we're going to want a one-way signal here, and we'll stick another signal over here. You want to have your signals, you want to have them like reasonably spaced out, but reasonably close together. We need another set of signals here to handle the traffic. I think this will work. Oh, you know what? Have I done this wrong? No. So if you're coming from here, and you want to go down this way, go up that way. So let's follow the path of a truck that goes between all three stations. Let's say we're in Chuddingstone West. We go up here. We follow this path. Okay, that looks perfectly fine. Then we can head our way up here, and we know that works. Okay. Then as we come down here, we want to go back to Chuddingstone. So we go down through this, and we loop around, and then we go to Chuddingstone. Then we want to go to Chuddingstone to Gettingbury, so we go straight through, and there's no turning involved. Then we want to go from Gettingbury to Chuddingstone, so we go again just straight through. Now let's say we want to go from Gettingbury to Browning Hall, so we have to go from here. We come out through here. We take a right, we loop down underneath the tunnel, and then we're heading up to Browning Hall. Then as we're coming from Browning Hall, we want to go to Gettingbury, we just take an easy turn. So there is a three-way intersection, a high throughput, two-directional three-way intersection that we've built. And now we can get up and start some new trains. So we'll start a new vehicle, we will call this the Kirby Paul, and it will have a passenger, just one passenger truck on it, and it will go from Gettingbury to Chuddingstone. And we're just going to start off with some pretty basic little trains here. We want to make sure our thing is working. Yep, you can see them, they're following along truly now. And then we're going to want another train that goes from Browning Hall to Gettingbury. Passenger carriage, and I want you to go to Browning Hall. Gettingbury, you'll get started. We're just going to make these little tiny trains for now. Now we have three little baby trains that are going through and doing the work they need to do. So that's a reasonable start, right? We've spent a lot of money, but we can always take a bigger loan. But we're essentially what we're doing here is we're building up our rail network to get used later in the game for other purposes. Okay, so this is the first section of our rail network. So what is the next town that we are going to connect? We're going to want to turn this into a four-way junction, which is pretty complicated actually to turn these things into a four-way junction, but it actually doesn't take too much work. And I'll show you guys how to do that in a moment. So So we're probably going to, let's see, we want to connect up bigger towns if possible. But we are going to need a train going down here to Lardingham and Great Printburg. So let's get started on turning this into a four-way junction. So there's sort of similar principles apply. These trains want to go straight. So they're going to go straight through here. So let's get the signaling set up for this. So this is more like on the fly, because this I haven't actually done four-way signaling before in any great detail. So this is more on the fly. Okay, so let's say we have a train coming from Printburg and it's going to Geddingbury. It's going to come in through here, and it can't actually get to Geddingbury without going through and looping back around. So we need a way for that train to get through. I'm trying to remember how to do cloverleafs. This was like a half cloverleaf design. I'm trying to remember how to do a full cloverleaf. So as this comes in, how do I get you? Well, this way is easy, because we essentially just connect from like over here to there, right? So it's easy to get from Geddingbury down to Great Printburg. But going the other way is a little bit more complicated. I'm gonna have to rethink this. We won't do this quite yet because it's been a while since I've done that sort of thing. I don't feel super confident. I might look it up in between episodes to see if I can figure that out. We're gonna stick to this three-way track. I'm pretty proud of though so far. But how do you do a four-way cloverleaf? I'm trying to remember. It's like there's a bit of work in it. I'm trying to remember. I think there's like loops and stuff you have to do. Like you have to allow these guys to go straight across. Yeah, I think that's what you have to do. You have to allow these guys to go straight across if they want to. And then this will mean that they can go down to here, right? This means this train can go through this intersection and then take a left here. And then go straight down towards this town, okay? And then similarly, as this train comes in, you want it to be able to take a left. So it can take a left into this town, okay? But then as it comes across, okay, as it comes down this way, it needs to be able to go straight through and then turn left to go back down this way, okay? And then as this train comes... Okay. Let me get those signals set up. So that's like that. That's like that. These intersections will be high traffic, but it's, it shouldn't cause traffic jams as far as I understand it. Okay, so let's say we have a train coming from here and we want to go through here. It'll go down and it'll turn left through this line, okay? Then this train will come up. And let's say it wants to go to Geddingbury. We'll come up through here. We'll turn left. Okay, let's say this train wants to go here. So let's say we have a train coming in that wants to go to Chuddingston. It will come up here. It will turn left, it'll go to this station, and then it will go to Chuddingston. But what we wanted to do is instead cut across here. Like this. okay? This is super messy signaling, but it's gonna work, okay? It's gonna work. So now this train, so the train coming from here can go to Chuddingston, no problem. Chuddingston can go up here and turn left and go down through this, no problem. So this is kind of a sloppy four-way junction. We'll make it work. And then if you want to go from down here to Gettingbury, you will go where? You'll come up through this. And you'll turn left. Then if you want to go from Gettingbury down, you'll go this way. Yeah, I think this will work. I think this will work. So let's get our railway over here connected. We need to do a little bit of sidestepping. Like so. Well, that seems like it's a bit of a waste of thing. We'll do like this. And then this should be a bridge. Like this. Then we want to make our way up here. And we're going to do a basic, since this is going to be a low traffic area, we're going to do a basic three-way junction over here. Where will we put it? Where will we put the three-way junction? That makes it really tough, actually. Where are we going to put this three-way junction? Well, we need to connect up to Lardingham. And you want your obstacles to be as strict as possible, like this. You don't want them to be. You don't want them to get complicated. You don't want them to change. You want them to be fairly easygoing, straightforward obstacles. So we'll go straight through here. But this would cause multiple ups. So we will flatten that, and then flatten that. And those are quite expensive to do, but it's not a huge deal. Then we will need to bring this up a tile. That will make things neat. Okay. Okay, we've come all the way down to Lardingham. We will stick down a station here at Lardingham. Another basic terminal station, say around. It needs to be back a little bit, so it'll have to go down. I'm gonna have to settle to do this, and then move the train back another tile because of the way the setup has to be. And then like this. Okay, and then we'll do another X here for the wagon, the depot. So now we've connected up Lardingham to our rail network. Now we're almost out of money, but you know, the magic of loans will get us through. So we'll just max out our loan. So now we need to connect this thing up with Great Printburg. You can see how our rail network is starting to become more what's the word? More extensive. We've connected up quite a few cities. So let's get some signaling going here. Which way were the roads going? It was like this. So we're gonna want another one. We're gonna want a. Where are we gonna put the rail station over here? This is awkward for Great Printburg. I tell you what, we're gonna call this an end to this episode. So I want to thank you guys very much for watching. As I try to figure out railways, I'm not very good at rails, so it's just a matter of me figuring things out. So I want to thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys are enjoying this series. Please remember, if you want to see more from me, you can subscribe to my channel to get notified when new videos come out. If you want to directly support my channel, please leave a like on the video. And if you want to give me your feedback, go ahead and leave a comment. Other than that, I want to thank you very much for watching. I love you all very much, and I'll see you next time.